Good afternoon, guys. Today we're going to talk about punkwood and how to char it. Stay tuned. Alright, so what I did was I took a short scout around and I found some down wood. And basically to find punkwood, you're just going to have to look around and feel around a little bit with the wood. So this was a down piece of wood that was laying in a crook of a tree. And basically what you're looking for is a real spongy type wood. It's going to break off and it is going to be a little bit flaky, but you're looking for something that's real spongy. Now if it's wet, like some of this log's wet because we had rain here for a few days, basically what you want to do is just take your axe and break down into the wood. So it's real spongy in this section, and it's very simple. You just break that apart. And you can feel the spongy wood on the inside. So I want to get a quick close-up here. This wood's real spongy, as you can see, you can even hear it. Now there's some dampness in the wood right here, but you can find some dry pieces because that was inside, so the rain didn't affect that too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to break a few pieces of this off. We're going to get a char tin and we're going to get this in the fire, and then we'll show you how to ignite this into an ember. So stay tuned. Alright, so the punkwood that we gathered, you don't need much, just enough to fill your tin. This piece has some dampness to it, but this piece is totally dry, and as you can see on the camera, it's a little bit almost like a kitchen sponge that you would use in your house. So we're just taking a basic tin, and you're just going to place your punkwood inside the tin. You can break it up into smaller pieces if you need to, and just fill your tin up with that, and close your tin. Now some people with their char tins, they put holes in their tins. This isn't a real tight fit, so I haven't had any issues as far as the gases escaping. If you would have a real tight fitting tin, then of course you need to put a small hole to let some of the gases escape. So once that's in and you close your tin off, through the fire behind me, which I'm going to place this in on the hot coals and let that cook for a while. You really can't overcook the char, so I'm going to place that in. We're going to let it get set, and then we'll pull it out and show you what it looks like. Alright, so we pulled our char tin out of the fire. Now I actually, after I placed it in the fire, we left it in there, I'm going to say for around an hour, because we went out and did a short scout in the woods. And like I said, you can't really overcook char. The only thing that I've noticed in my experience is that if you leave it in the fire longer than you probably need to, it will shrink in size a little bit more than if you monitor a little bit closely. Now if you pull it out and there's still some uncharred material, throw the lid back on, right back in the fire, and you'll be good to go. So we're going to open it up, and as you can see, we have some good charred punkwood here. Now the thing with charred punkwood that I've also found in my experience is that it's very, very flaky. So it's very difficult with your flint and steel, if you're going to use that as an ignition source, to hold this on your flint and strike your steel, because what happens, as you can see, it just flakes away to nothing. So we're going to reposition the camera, and I'm going to show you how I use my flint and steel to ignite this, and then we'll quick talk about just a few things that you can do once you have this ember ignited. Okay guys, so traditionally what I've done in the past, and I'm just going to go over this quick, I don't want to get in too much detail around this, we can do that in another video. I would place my charred cloth on top of my flint, and strike it this way with my steel. But what happens, like I said, as you can see, this is very crumbly. So what I found to do is actually the opposite. I place my steel right in my char tin, and then I'll strike downward with my flint. So we're going to actually do this. I'm going to reposition myself, and I'll do this. It takes a few times sometimes to get this, so make sure you have a good sharp piece of flint. And once you get one piece ignited, if you want, you can always take that piece pick it up and lay it on another larger piece. And you can see that we have an ignition here. So we have a bunch of hot coals. Now if we were going to use this for a bird's nest type situation, if that's what we had as a tinder source, then we can pick this out or turn it on to that. If not, there's some other things that we can do. So stay tuned and I'm going to talk about that in a second. You guys, how we ignite the charred punkwood. Basically then, if we're going to keep it in the tin and light a source from that to put it out, all that we do is we take the tin, and be careful because if you have a lot in here, the tin can get quite hot, and place our lid on top of it, and that'll smolder it out, and then your char is good to go. You can just keep adding more in if you need to. What I usually do after using it for some time, I'll empty it out because, like I said, it's a real fragile source. So when I get a lot of that dust in there, I empty that out and I put new fresh pieces in when I get an opportunity or I find any type of punkwood within the woods. So a few things that I also wanted to just touch on with this. Like I said, if you have a bird's nest, take that material out once it's ignited, place it in your bird's nest, you'll have a great ember. They burn good and hot and long. You can also, if you're going more the 18th century style, you're doing that more, using that as a modern day type of ignition, take a beeswax candle, place it in there. You're gonna have to blow a little bit and get it good and hot, get your wax to burn, and ignite your candle, and you now have a source of flame you can add to whatever you need within your fire lay. So just another option for you guys to think about. I want to thank you for joining us today. This was Dan from the Coal Cracker Coalition at our Shamokin camp. Stay tuned for more videos. Thanks, guys.